Thanks. Eric Bakker, the naturopath from New Zealand. From New Zealand, I should have said. I went too quick there. Thanks for coming back and looking at my video. I've written some points down here, and I'm going to title this video, The 10 Mistakes People Make When Cooking on a Candida Diet or Candida Cleanse. Right? So let's take it from the top. The first one, not cooking from scratch, using too many pre-made foods with meals. Too much processed food goes into cooking, like sauces and artificial sugars and crap like that. So when I cook, I tend to, get some lentils or some meat or whatever I'm using, and then I'll have onions and tomatoes and vegetables. Like I'll use fresh, and then the spices and herbs and the sea salt and things go in. So it's basically one big chemical concoction of like natural food with as minimal processed things going in there. There's a big tendency today for people to buy sauces and packet foods and cans and bottles and quickly open something up and throw it in, and that's the sauce, but there's no way in the world you could ever come close to making the type of flavors that we can make with the herbs and spices and ginger and garlic and all the stuff. You don't need to have spice racks like I have or pantries like I have. You just need basic things. Even with basic things, you can make outstanding meals. But try to get away from cans and bottles and packets, because everything now is pre-made. Right? Point 2, not using any herbs or spices in their cooking. Many people still today don't use garlic. They still don't use ginger. They'll buy powdered stuff. They'll buy a lot of desiccated garlic if they use it at all, and it tastes like crap, that desiccated stuff. Nothing comes near fresh. Now, I've been very much kicked up the butt lately about my recommendations for people to eat garlic, because lots of people say, it's bad, don't eat it, it belongs to the underworld, and it's bad for your health, you'll get autoimmune problems when you eat it. And another person sent me in a message on YouTube, are you crazy, garlic, don't you know it kills off all the good bacteria? Like all these negative comments on garlic. It's sad that people have got this weird malaligned view of one of the most amazing health foods on the planet. It's weird. Strong foods obviously drive strong opinions in people. Right? Garlic's fine, but just be careful of your tummy when you eat it raw. It can really play out. So, yeah, I don't think I've got a photo of my spice rack on my phone, but I'm not going to go through my pictures now, but I've taken a photo. So we've got a spice rack with about 50 different spices and different dried herbs on there, which we regularly use in cooking. It makes all the difference. All right. That's point number 3. Becoming too anal about carbs. Okay, this is another mistake on a Candida diet, is trying to take every carb out of the diet, thinking that everything that's carbohydrate drives yeast up. It's not true. Okay, it's not true. You need to experience for yourself what a particular carb does in your tummy. Now, I'm not talking white sugar. I'm not talking cheeseburgers from McDonald's. I'm talking that kind of crap. I'm talking sweet potatoes even. People avoid them. Okay, people avoid carrots even on Candida diet, thinking they flare the gut up. Look, any food can flare the gut up. Okay, even proteins can flare up the gut. It all depends on the state of your microbiome at the time. All right, I've said this so many times. So your gut's evolving and constantly changing, and as it changes and it evolves, it can either go up or down. Okay, it can evolve for the bad if you're going to live a junk food lifestyle, and it can evolve for the good if you're living a healthy lifestyle. So depending on which way it goes, your gut will, reward you appropriately. Right? So getting anal about carbs. We've talked a lot about that on other videos, about how you should not get so ridiculously fussy about every little carbohydrate that goes in your mouth. Right? Number 4, changing the diet too rapidly. This is another common mistake many people make. They'll have a very average diet or a crappy diet, and all of a sudden they go the following day, poof, they go on this amazing regime, and the gut doesn't like it. It starts playing up and throwing symptoms your way, all right? Because you did it too rapidly. You don't go from being someone, a couch potato with a remote control, and the following day you're not going to do, 400 sit-ups at the gym, because you're probably going to feel pretty crappy, right? You've got to slowly ease into things. Right? Point number 5, not making your new dietary regime for life, only thinking you can do it for a few months and get out of the bad spot, and then going back to what you were doing. Doesn't work, because you'll be like a lot of people I've seen. You know, you'll basically be on a merry-go-round. Good diet, bad diet, good diet, bad diet, good diet, bad diet. Why not just stay on the good flippin' diet? All right, you won't have to go back and do cleanses and all this junk again. You know? 6, having cheat days. I've seen several websites just before where they say, well, if you eat good food for 6 days, you can have a bowl of ice cream on day 7. Yeah, right. Okay, doesn't work like that, right? Don't work like that. You can go out and be a nice person on the streets, but on day 7 you can punch a few heads in and put some graffiti up and get away with it. Doesn't work. You got to be nice all the time. Someone's going to be ratting on you, okay? Watch out. Point number 7. Not taking any supplements, or not taking the right supplements. Supplements are a really good adjunct to a Candida diet when taken at the appropriate time and the right dosage. They can accelerate your recovery incredibly. So by not taking any, or taking tons of cheap crappy things, you can actually, it can work against you. All right. Point number, where are we? Point number 8. Foregoing a healthy lifestyle and only looking at the diet. So some people have this, again, belief that food is everything, you know, but you can stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning watching Netflix, but as long as you eat good food, it doesn't work like that. You need to get to bed, you need to get some sleep, you need to stop fighting with your partner. Okay, these things make a big difference, if you get my point. Number 9, not buying fresh produce regularly is having too much stale old stuff in the refrigerator or pantry. All right, so many people will buy a piece of broccoli on a Monday, and then 7 or 8 days later they'll cut a piece off and eat it, and it's all floppy and crappy, and every day fresh. This is why we grow food ourselves, because we like fresh every day. And if you can't grow like me, you can buy 2 or 3 times a week small amounts to keep your produce fresh. Don't eat stale stuff. Doesn't work too well. It also doesn't taste good, and if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't work well, you're probably going to go back to junk again, because that tastes better. Last one, foregoing regular testing to see where you're at. I'm a big fan of regular stool testing or hair testing, but particularly stool testing to see where your microbiome is, where the bowel is at that point in time, because it'll be a reflection of what goes in here. So eating properly, the beneficial count will go up, and you'll see that you'll go from a 1 or a 2+ count up to a 3 or a 4+ count. Okay, it means you're being a good boy, you're a good girl, you're doing the right thing. All right, and that will be affirmed in terms of how you feel. Okay, big change will happen when the bowel flora improve. But also conversely, if you've been a bad boy or girl, you'll see it also in the stool test. All right, so I hope that gives you a bit of info on my 10 sort of points on mistakes people make when it comes to cleansing or diet in Candida. Subscribe, and also don't forget, when you do, you'll get my 17-page diet sheet, the Candida diet list. Good for going shopping with. Thanks for tuning in.